Hi everyone, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie and I cover oily skin, hooded eyes, and beauty. Welcome to my Pressed Powder Foundation Wars finale. If you have missed this entire series, I will link all the videos down below for you. To catch you guys up, I have reviewed 6 drugstore pressed powder foundations for your oily skin, and I tested these foundations out with primer and without. So as I was testing out these foundations, I wanted to test them out with my everyday products, which are my trusty L'Oreal Infallible Matte Lock Mattifying Primer and my Urban Decay De-Slick Oil Control Setting Spray. I have rated these foundations from 1 to 6, 1 being best, 6 being the worst, and then I'll go ahead and let you know my reasons why. So let's get started. So the number 6 spot goes to the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder. So let's start with the good things about this powder. It controlled my oils like that much, like just barely. Now let's talk about why this is rated number 6. It oxidizes like crazy, and not just a few shades darker. Like this oxidizes to orange, and it only gets worse throughout the day. You will just get more orange and more orange. Even if I use it just as a setting powder, it'll still oxidize just to maybe like a shade darker, and it won't be orange, it'll be like a tan color, but I mean, it does oxidize. So if you do want to use it as a setting powder, get a shade lighter so that way you don't look so dark. Also, this does nothing for your pores, and with oily skin comes large pores, and it just doesn't really do anything. So for $10.95, I do not recommend this at all. So before I get into number 5, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is just a powder and not a foundation, but a lot of people were saying that they do use this as a foundation since it does have some coverage, and it was actually rated highly as a foundation. So I wanted to go ahead and give it a try. So the number 5 spot goes to the Covergirl Clean Fresh Powder. Now, even though this is rated number 5, there are still some really great qualities with this powder, like the fact that it does have light coverage and it is lightweight, so you don't really feel it on your skin, and it fills in your pores and your fine lines. It just smooths everything out. It is beautiful, and it controls your oils all day. Now, because this is just a powder and not a foundation, you can't really count on it to cover any blemishes or imperfections, just because it does have the lightest coverage possible. And also, I just had a little bit of trouble keeping it on my nose, and I just had some creasing, but that's it. I mean, if you have great skin, you can definitely use it as foundation, but if you have those imperfections, I would lean more towards an actual foundation. For $8.10, I really do recommend this as a setting powder because it does fill in your pores and your fine lines, and it controls your oils all day. It is great. Now for the number 4 spot, I was so excited about this foundation because it is a hydrating powder foundation. And it was rated highly for oily skin, which didn't make sense to me, but it made me super curious, so I had to try it. The number 4 spot goes to JCat Aquasurance Compact Foundation. So this is the very first powder foundation that I have ever seen to reach full coverage. Like, it is no joke. It will blur out everything. It basically gives you a blank canvas and you're like starting all over. It blurs your pores, your fine lines. The only thing is it does oxidize just a little bit, so you might want to get a shade lighter. Even though this foundation sounds like a dream, it is not number 1. It's number 4 because you will be an oil grease ball at the end of the day. Now, I tried this foundation out 3 times, and I tried a lot of different ways to get this to really control my oils, and it just, nothing I did worked. If it wasn't for not being able to control my oils, this would be number 1. Now for the number 3 foundation, it's actually a TikTok favorite. I honestly thought it was gonna be number 1 since everyone swore by this, but it's number 3, and that's gonna be the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Powder Foundation. Now don't get me wrong, there are some great qualities about this foundation, like the fact that it gives you a medium coverage, it doesn't oxidize, and it does control your oils to some degree, but whenever your oils come through, it actually comes through really, really nicely. So I tried this just as a foundation alone, and I also tried it as a setting powder, and I like it both ways. It does magnify your pores. So if you're a person with large pores, you might just want to rely on a pore filling primer. I did also get some caking around around the chin area, which I do have that problem with some foundations. So other than that, I do think that this is a great foundation for $14.99. So now we're down to the top two. To be honest, it was really, really tough because I love these foundations so much and they look and just wear so beautifully. It went down to like the smallest, most minor thing for me to rate number 2 as number 2 and number 1 as number 1. So let's just go ahead and get into it. My number 2 is gonna be the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder Foundation. This foundation does everything. It gives you a medium coverage, it doesn't oxidize, it controls your oils all day, and it fills in your pores and your fine lines. Not only is it great as a foundation, but it's great as a setting powder as well. Now the reason this one didn't make the number 1 spot, and it's for the smallest little ittiest bittiest reason. It creased very little in between the eyebrows. That was the only thing that made this the number 2 spot. Now before you guys judge me on which one I have rated number 1, hear me out. This one is just a powder, but a lot of people were saying that they use this as a foundation because of its medium coverage. And when I was doing my research, this one was really highly rated as a powder foundation for oily skin. So I decided I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the series. Now here we go. The number 1 spot goes to Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder. So I literally could not find one bad thing about this powder. It gives you a medium coverage, it doesn't oxidize, it controls your oils all day, it fills in your fine lines and your pores, and it doesn't cake, it doesn't crease. It's great as a powder foundation and it's great as a setting powder. And for $7.99, this is the best powder foundation that I have ever used. Or powder, whatever you guys want to call it, it is perfect. Out of all of the pressed powder foundations in this series, the only one that I don't recommend is going to be the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Powder. All of them, I really do think that they are worth trying out. So let me know down in the comments below which ones are you going to be trying out. Also, if you have tried these out, let me know which ones do you like, which ones do you not like. Let me know what other drugstore makeup products you want me to try. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I'm super excited for the next series because it's going to be the setting spray wars. I know that I keep saying that it's gonna come up, but it's finally gonna be here. I promise. I'm so excited to get started on this one. That's a wrap.